So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use Flippity Flashcards and what else Flippity Flashcards can do besides just basic flashcards. So Flippity Flashcards is the first option that's given to you on the main page. It doesn't necessarily look terribly exciting, but this is why you need to make sure that you click on the demo for every tool. Don't judge a book by its cover, because when you go into the demo, you're going to see that this does give you a traditional flashcard set, and we can maneuver that flashcard set by clicking on the cards. So what's the capital of Malaysia? It's Kuala Lumpur. If I click on the card again, it's just automatically going to take me to the next card. The year of Columbus's quote-unquote discovery of the New World, 1492. If this is a card that I know and I want to take it out of the deck, so I'm not going to keep practicing it, I can click on Remove Card. If the cards are in a sequence and I don't want them in a sequence, I can shuffle it. If I decide that I want to do a Jeopardy style thing and I'm going to start with an answer and then go to the question, I can use this to flip back and forth. And then there is also the option for audio with the cards.
The highest type of cloud.
So you can actually have this read the text to students as well. So I've got all of these different navigation tools around the card. But what you may not notice at first glance is up here I have several other tabs. So this is the flashcards tab, but that same information is also in list form. So you can see side 1 is kind of the information or the question, and then side 2 is the answer. There are some of these for which there is a photo or a video being used instead of just text, which makes it a little bit more interesting. There is also a practice tab that has you type in the answer for your question. There is a matching game where you're actually going to slide things together, or actually no, it's click on 2 items. So let me see if I can find one to match up. I just saw, here we go, Kuala Lumpur, capital of Malaysia. So I click, and then because they're a match, they both go away. If I click on 2 things that are not a match, like for example, if I say that the New York Yankees are the best-selling album in history, it turns red and it goes away to tell me that that was indeed not correct. So there's a matching game that is made out of this as well. So I made flashcards, or the demo made flashcards, but it's also a list which is printable if necessary. It's a typing practice activity, it's a matching activity, and then this last tab over here says more. And this is what amazed me. By making one flashcards activity, we can actually choose to send those terms to so many of the other tools here. So we could send our terms to a bingo game, Connecto, which is like Connect 4 or tic-tac-toe, crossword, manipulatives, matching, randomizer, scavenger hunt, snowman, which is their version of hangman, word cloud, word search, quiz show, word scramble. I can make all of those just from one flashcards activity. So this is really an awesome tool because you input it once and you have so much that you can do with it. You can, in addition, print a quiz with this. So if you wanted to generate a printable quiz, you can generate a printable quiz. So that's what the flashcards tool really is. Yes, it's flashcards and it could be used as flashcards, but there's a ton more that can be done with this activity. So just like for any of the Flippity activities, we have demo, and then the second button that we have is instructions. And just like for all of the Flippity activities, there are 4 steps in the process. Step 1 is to modify the Google spreadsheet template. So you're going to leave anything that is in a blue background cell, you're going to leave that exactly as it is. You're going to update the information in the white boxes. After that, you're going to publish your spreadsheet. You're going to get the Flippity link, and then you're going to make sure that you save that Flippity link somewhere so that you can get back to it easily. You can always get back to it by finding that spreadsheet, which will be in your Google Drive, but really you want to save the final result in your digital lesson plans or somewhere where you're going to be able to easily access it. So those are our instructions. You can get to the template directly through the instructions, or you can get to the template right on this page where it says Flippity Flashcards. So I'm going to click on template. It's going to ask me if I would like to make a copy. Yes, I would. So it's going to think for a second while it's making me a copy. And when you get the template is always just the one that they used as a demo so that you can see kind of what it should look like when it's completely filled out. So you'll notice that both sides of this have the ability for audio. So the audio is listed in English, but there is a drop-down menu if you're using a language other than English, or if you don't want audio, you can choose none. You can also put in links to videos, and you can put in image files as well. So this was the picture of Vincent van Gogh. You're going to see that the link, this is a JPEG file, so there are only certain types of image files that you can use, but you can enter YouTube links and picture files instead of text. We can choose the card color. There are certain colors of cards and text that you can use. If it is left blank, the cards will be white and the text will be black. So if you're fine with black text on white cards, you don't even have to put anything in here. But if you want to change it up according to categories or things like that, you can put in basic colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Okay, so this is what we're given as our template. I'm going to first of all go ahead and I am going to rename this, because if I don't rename it right away, I usually forget to do it. So I am going to call this être verbs flippity.net flashcards template, and I'll explain. Actually, I'm going to delete template because it's no longer a template. This is my document now, and I'm going to delete everything that was in here so that I have a clean slate, and then I'm going to put in the information that I want to use. Okay, so I've entered all of my information. I am a French teacher, and so this is a particular set of verbs that is really important for students to know. So I've entered the verbs, and then I've entered one meaning that I want students to know for each verb. So I'm going to make a couple adjustments to this because these are obviously in French. If I have them auto-read in English, that's going to sound horrible. So I'm going to change my audio to French. I'm going to leave this one to English. For my card color, let's go with blue, and I'm just going to do everything in blue, and I'm not going to add anything in text color because I'm fine with black text, and that's the default. Now, one thing I'm going to do before I go on to the next step is down here where it says flashcards, this first tab will always just say like whatever type of flippity it is. I like to give that a name, so I'm going to rename this être verbs. Okay, these are verbs that are conjugated with être in the passé composé, which is a compound past tense made up of two verbs. So I'm just going to rename this. My bottom tab says get the link here, but I'm not ready to get the link quite yet. I still need to publish it. This will not work until it's actually published. So I'm going to go to File. I'm going to go down to Publish to the Web, and I'm going to click on Publish and click on the little OK that pops up. It's going to give me a web address here, but that's not the one I want to use. So I'm going to close this box, and I'm going to go to my Get the Link here, and that's going to give me the flippity link that I need to use. So when I click on this, I should see the flashcards that I have just made. So devenir means to become. Revenir means to come back. If I want to shuffle them, now they're in a different order. Aller means to go, venir to come, arriver to arrive, etc. So I have my flashcards like we've seen before. I have an entire list, so if students wanted to just reference the list for something, they would have access to this as well. Keep in mind that this link is what I would share with students to use. So everything that I see, my students would see as well. So here's the list. Here's the practice activity. So the practice activity is giving them the infinitive and they have to write the meaning, but it actually might be a better activity for them to do it this way. That gives them the meaning and they have to type the infinitive verb. So that would be a great practice for them. And then there's also that matching activity that they can do as well. So we have all of those. But then what I'm really excited about is on this More tab. So if I choose More, let's say that I want to make a bingo game out of this. I'm going to click on Send Terms to Bingo Game. And it's going to give me my list of terms, okay? And I'm going to shuffle them just to see what that does. So I'm going to print 20 boards using the terms. Okay, so this is where I'm choosing between terms and alt terms. What that refers to is back on the original sheet, the terms are side 1, the alt terms are side 2. What do you want to appear on the bingo board? That's what it's asking. So I want to print 20 boards. Let's say I have 20 students using the terms, and I can print off of those boards. The other way that I can do this is I can send players the link that is below, or I could project this on the screen and they could come up with their phones, for example, or their iPads, whatever technology they might have access to, and scan this QR code. Each player will get a unique randomly generated board. So how awesome is that? So this is what it would look like. Now, I didn't set this up correctly because I only have 17 terms in here. That doesn't fill up an entire bingo board. So, oh no, what do I do? Well, I'm going to have a list that has more items than this. Okay, so you need to kind of play around with different things and see what's going to work. But this is a really awesome tool, and students can just click on items as they are called, and then when somebody gets a bingo, they click clear, and then they can also click on a new board. So if they want to change their board as they're playing, or not as they're playing, but in between games, they could choose a new board to play on as well. So I think what's really cool about the flashcards is all of the different things that you can do. Just play around with it and see what might I want to try, what would work, what wouldn't. And the catch is you want to make sure that, for example, I created a bingo game out of this. This is the link specifically for the bingo game. I shouldn't need to go back and do send terms to bingo game every single time. I'm going to save this link somewhere and say, okay, this is the link for the bingo game using the être verbs. This is the link for the bingo board using the être terms. Now, let's say that I had some more verbs that I was going to add to this list so that we could actually play bingo with it, so that it would fill up 25 spaces. I don't actually need to start from scratch and enter in all those terms and create a new Flippity. I can actually go back to my original here, and if I picked out some other verbs that kind of fit with these that I wanted to add, I can add them in. And I don't need to republish because this is already published to the web. It will update automatically. So if I were to refresh my Flippity page, or if I just clicked on my link again and opened a new tab, any changes that I've made, those will automatically be updated. So you don't have to unpublish and republish or anything like that. If you find typos or you want to add something or take something away, all of that will update on its own, which is really, really awesome. So hopefully you saw that the Flippity Flashcards tool is so much more than flashcards. If you're new to Flippity, I would suggest maybe you start with this one because it would also give you the chance to try out some of the other tools without having to create sets for each of them, because flashcards will just kind of push it over for you.